From monstrous 18-meter sharks to giant snakes that are the size of ships. This time we'll find out once and for all who earns the title of the world's biggest sea monster. To do so, we must make the criteria very clear. The monsters you'll see here must meet certain requirements. For example, they cannot be scientifically known species but unknown creatures. We could even say that mythological beasts. And in addition, they must have been seen at least once, either by ancient sailors or by having historical records on their sightings. Do you agree with these simple rules? Perfect. Then it's time to discover which is the biggest sea monster in the ocean. Number 7. The first great sea beast that we're going to discover dates back to the year 1855, and although it belongs to Canadian folklore, its presence has surpassed its borders. Its habitat is in one of the deepest lakes of this country, and it's known for being a demonic and insatiable creature. Its name is Ogopogo, and it's generally described as a species of sea serpent that reaches a size of over 12 meters in length. Its sightings have been recorded by Canadian settlers, but its history is much more recent than you might imagine. In 1980, numerous tourist agencies offered large rewards for anyone who could show a sighting of the creature. Even Greenpeace offered payment to those who managed to film it, but without capturing it, since the Ogopogo is considered an endangered creature. Many people handed in an audiovisual material that proved its existence, but it's still a large mystery. No one knows whether some specimens are still alive or have already disappeared from our planet. However, the Ogopogo is completely overshadowed by the next great beast on our list. Number 6. In Monterey Bay, something strange has been haunting local fishermen since 1900. Few have been able to describe it, although the words they use to define its presence are so monstrous and terrifying that everyone prays before leaving the port so they don't run into this creature. According to the locals, its history is as old as the sea, and ever since Captain Coletto encountered it, there isn't a single day in which one of the sailors in the area doesn't try to capture Bobo, the monster of Monterey. The first descriptions of this beast claim that it was almost 14 meters long and could coil more than 4 times around an average boat. Its skin was as thick and wrinkled as that of a 200-year-old tree, but the most surprising thing was its face, which had the features of an aged monkey with its eyes closed. It's said that this creature is usually peaceful, but when it decides to attack, its eyes open and take on a pinkish color. It then emits a loud snort and loses itself underwater for an instant, only to emerge and try to annihilate the vessels in its path. Several ships have sunk to the bottom of the sea according to the stories, and all sailors seem to agree on the same point. This creature is one of the most terrifying beasts of the oceans. However, this is just the beginning of the list. There's still a long way to go, and the next sea creature will possibly leave you not wanting to go to the beach for a couple of months. Number 5. In Nova Scotia, all Nova Scotians remember July 17, 1976, as a day when a demon messenger took over the sea. Since that date, sailors and fishermen have never looked at the beaches the same way again, and those who were eyewitnesses of the event died not before swearing that they had seen the most frightening creature of their lives. This is the Cape Sable snake, a monster like few others, at least among those that have been recorded in the ocean. It's usually described as a sea serpent of abysmal thickness and a size exceeding 50 feet in length. Its head is composed of the features of a wild boar, and huge, sharp teeth protrude from its wide jaw. Its eye sockets protrude outward, so they appear to come out of its head, and it's covered with multicolored loops that often are the last thing its victims see. Since 1976, this creature has been responsible for numerous attacks on fishing boats and even the occasional sinking of small vessels. However, over time, its appearances have become very selective, as it only attacks solitary vessels, and on some occasions, it's believed to have been responsible for several disappearances. No one can pinpoint the location of this sea creature with certainty, but only few have the courage to go looking for it. no one is willing to meet their own end after all. However, some people are braver than others, and those who have encountered the next beast deserve to be recognized as some of the most fearless human beings in the world. Number 4. When talking about sea monsters, it's impossible not to think of sharks almost immediately. These creatures have historically dominated the seas thanks to the weapons that nature bestowed upon them. However, in the Baja California Peninsula, there was a shark that was like no other ever seen before. On the coasts, fishermen turned pale at the mere mention of its name, and those who have seen it in action say they still have nightmares. It's a black demon, a black shark that measures more than 18 meters and weighs 100,000 pounds. Many confuse it with a white shark because of its incredible destructive capacity, in addition to its impressive bite, but it isn't related to this species. In reality, very little is known about this demon disguised as a shark. Some believe it could be a small megalodon or a new species of shark that has emerged from the deep sea. Still, regardless of its origin, this creature has wreaked havoc wherever it has been seen and has even left numerous victims in bloody water in each of its sightings. It's imposing and has appeared in numerous programs as a sea monster, but don't be too quick to crown it as a winner. You have yet to meet some of the most fearsome creatures that you never imagined that could grow in the very heart of the ocean. Number 3. The next creature cannot be described with words, although many have tried. According to the stories, nothing compares to the fear of being calmly sailing the sea and coming across a creature that paralyzes you just by the sight of it. Its size is so enormous that the title of giant does not define all its proportions, nor does cataloging it as monstrous convey the horror it awakens. Some had preferred to call it Laska, although sometimes this is the last word they say before disappearing. Laska is cataloged as a giant octopus that's 23 meters long. It's often been said that it's the closest copy of a kraken, and they don't seem to be wrong. The reports have been made by numerous divers on the islands of the Bahamas. The authorities have failed to do anything about it. The creature has managed to elude them, although it continues to regularly attack bathers and, above all, boats that dare to enter the sea. No one escapes Laska's enormous and extensive tentacles, and that's a characteristic it shares with the next monster of the deep sea, a beast impossible to match. Number 2. The next creature is one of the largest beasts ever recorded. Its first sightings occurred in the year 1817, and since then, it kept surprising the inhabitants of Cape Ann in Massachusetts, United States. 11 witnesses declare under oath to having seen the creature at 11 different times, and each one described it in great detail, all agreeing on the same characteristics. In addition, numerous researchers from the Linnean Society of New England analyzed the matter and came across a number of decisive clues that confirmed their words. The beast existed and was named the Globster serpent. According to the stories, these sea beasts had a disproportionate strength that rivaled the fury of the sea. It was 30 meters long, and its weight could sink a ship with just the use of its tail. It was also described as a turtle-head creature with a wet mane that covered the ships with water when it moved. Its power was destructive, and numerous ships were recorded to be the main victims of its attacks. Of course, no one ever managed to catch it alive, and its corpse, if it actually exists, continues to be one of the most coveted jewels of monster hunters. However, the jewel in the crown lies elsewhere in the world, specifically in Antarctica, but unlike these beasts, not even monster hunters wish to come across its carcass. Number 1. The following creature remains one of the most unusual and extraordinary sea monsters ever recorded throughout the world. Its home is in the icy heart of Antarctica, and sightings have been reported by numerous scientific teams that were researching whales in the area. Nothing known by humanity can compare to it, and it's, without a doubt, one of the largest creatures on the planet. Its name is an Injun, which means human, although it shares very little with our species. To be more specific, it only shares the body, as it has arms, a head, and a face similar to those of a human. However, that's where all the similarities end. This creature has thick white skin and a size of up to 31 meters in length that goes from the skull and ends in a monstrous pink, gray, and white tail covered with sharp and aged skin. Witnesses fail to agree on its physical appearance. Some categorize this creature as a giant trident, others as a marine humanoid with fins and large mermaid tails instead of legs. Their faces are practically unrecognizable since only 2 red eyes and a monstrous and terrifying mouth are visible. Numerous researchers have traveled to Antarctica to determine the veracity of these facts, and some magazines have devoted entire articles to the Antarctic humans, as they are popularly known. In each of these papers, a number of interesting facts have been uncovered, although there are no clues of an engine. Following its trail seems to be a practically impossible mission, and most have stopped trying, especially after numerous accidents were recorded at the hands of an indescribable creature. An engine can be really dangerous, and those who have dared to prove it out have ended up in the depths of the sea. Of course, the sea is gigantic and hides infinite mysteries. We have surely left out some sea monsters that could surpass an engine in this list. If you know any of them, share their names in the comments down below or tell us which is the monster you think that should win in this fight. If you're interested in knowing the secrets of the ocean, we have other videos that will completely change the way you think about the sea. We assure you that this isn't an exaggeration. Check them out.